Welcome back, YouTube. What is this? This is day 4 or 5 or something like that. I posted day 3 on Tuesday, and now it's Friday. It's Friday the 9th. It's my second full week of being in business. Not full time, but half time. You know, if you didn't hear the last one, I'm working 3 days a week at my day job, and then 3 days a week on this stuff. On my own construction projects. We're in business as a general contractor here in Central Illinois. And the last 2 days I've been beating my head against, I've got a connection to a realtor in Morton. I said Morton, see, we're from Tremont, Illinois. I got a connection to a realtor in the next town over. And I've done a couple of little jobs for him. I replaced the front door and cut a new sink into a Corian countertop, and he had an undermount sink at his mom's house that fell down, you know, after whatever, a couple of decades. The silicone, whatever, will dry and get weak, and then the sink can collapse, and the clips aren't really designed to hold the sink. I think that they kind of stabilize it while the silicone's setting up, you know, but sink full of dishes anyways, pretty heavy. So, man, I beat my head against it yesterday, and I really needed 2 sets of hands to do it, and I fought it for like 4 hours yesterday and felt like an idiot, and it's even a little embarrassing to tell you guys about this because, you know, I fancy myself not, you know, whatever, not a plumber or a sink installer, but, you know, a reasonably competent blue-collar guy and a pretty good carpenter, and I was just frustrated with myself. I couldn't get this thing sorted out, and I needed another set of hands, and I was feeling pretty down on myself yesterday. But I went back with a younger guy who's been helping me out some, who's between jobs, and we got it all set up today. And so I'm back, going back now to we put props under it to let the silicone set up, and so now I got to go knock the props out and hook the plumbing up. So I'm not really sure what I'm talking about today, other than, oh, that's what it was going to be. So I was going to talk about this job and how, you know, I'm not sure what I should be doing, which is a weird place to be starting a small business. You know, people ask, what are you doing? And it's like, well, I'm not really sure. I know my skills are primarily in carpentry, and although I dabble in this and that, you know, I can hook up a light fixture, and, you know, I can swap a toilet. I can do a whole lot of things, but my professional capacity is as a carpenter, and I want to be a general contractor, but you know, it's like, what does that mean? People ask, are you going to build houses? And it's like, well, I know I don't want to build houses because they're big projects with tons of details and tons of decisions to walk a customer through, and lots of opportunity for error, and lots of dollars and low margin, and I know I don't want to do that. But you know, after fighting the sink for a little while yesterday, I thought, you know, should I even be doing this? If I get little asks for handyman stuff, you know, it's hard to turn anything away because, you know, I want to build a reputation and build a book of business, and you know, I don't want to say no to people. I want to be the guy who says yes. I want to be the guy who can solve your problem. You know, you got something wrong. It's like, you know, I want it to not be your problem anymore. I want it to be my problem. And then, you know, have the opportunity to be the hero. But I know, or at least I think that in the course of time, over the next year or two, we're going to find our way into what we want to do, you know, whether that's bathroom remodels or, you know, decks and fences or windows and doors or something more specific. I think that's the way to go, because then you can tool up for that thing specifically, and you can be more efficient. And but that's kind of contrary to being a general contractor too. And so, like, maybe I want to do remodels, and so that's where my head is now. And it's again, and this is probably going to be an exercise in embarrassment, this YouTube thing. But it might be a good way to process my thoughts, and maybe some of you guys will have good ideas too. You can leave in the comments. But hopefully this is a good way to clear the air, and you know, I it's like I say, I'm still kind of trying to figure out. We're going into business, and I'm not sure what I want to do yet. And so we're taking what comes construction wise, and hopefully we develop some kind of direction or desire over the next year. So that was a bit rambly, but I'm about to my stop, and I'll talk to you next week.